Okay, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome very much to this follow-up training from the Asia Pacific Virtual Winter School. This is our 6th version of our follow-up training, so we're really excited about this one. And it's great to have so many of you joining us here today. So as you can see from this presentation, this has been a real collaborative effort between several of our youth chapters, of our Youth Global, APR, and of our For Action, as well as the APC Hub. Now, we're particularly excited about today's event because it falls within the Youth in Evaluation Week. So you have probably also been getting several emails about other exciting youth and evaluation activities that are happening this week. So I encourage you to participate in that as much as you possibly can. Okay, let me just get my screen share happening. Okay, now I probably should have actually started with who I am, but my name is Amanda Modisthead. I am a young and emerging evaluator from Australia. I'm also co-leader of the Eval Youth chapter here in Australia and New Zealand. Okay, some quick ground rules. I know we're all very familiar with Zoom by this point post-pandemic, but just a few things to touch on. If you can rename yourself so that we have your first, your last name, and then your gender pronouns, that would be really helpful just so that we can keep track of who's who. In terms of room decorum, it would be great if you could please keep your camera and your microphones turned off or muted. Unless we ask you to open them up. This way we can just make sure that everybody can hear and everybody can see what they need to see. So thank you in advance for doing that. If you do have questions throughout the presentation today, we have got quite a large group, I think. So what we will ask you to do is to pop your questions into the chat, and I will be keeping an eye on that and making sure that those get passed along to the speakers if they need to. So any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll address them as we go. We will be stopping at several points throughout the presentation to address the questions. So do not stress if yours isn't addressed immediately. They will be addressed at some point during the presentation. And lastly there, for any tech support questions, we have a great production team monitoring the chat as well. So if you do have any questions about the tech support, please do pop those in the chat as well and somebody will be able to help you out there. Okay, so we have 2 main objectives for the training today. These have been the objectives throughout these follow-up trainings from the Winter School, and they still hold true for today as well. So we would like to enhance knowledge and skills in collecting and triangulating data for evaluations, and to strengthen the evaluation networks in the Asia Pacific, and to connect other young and emerging evaluators with more experienced evaluators. So just by being here today, you are helping us with that second objective of forging connections, but we hope that that will come out very clearly throughout the presentations and the session today. Okay, now our opening remarks are to be delivered by Tashi Choden, who is the co-leader of Eval Youth Asia. Fortunately, Tashi couldn't actually join us here today, but she has sent through a short video to give her opening remarks. So I will pass over to Randy to share that one.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. On behalf of Eval Youth Asia and APIA, I would like to welcome you all to the 6th follow-up training for Asia Pacific Evaluation Winter and Fall School participants, to all of you for taking the time to join us. I have been fortunate enough to attend the first winter school, which has taught me many things. And for this follow-up training, we are very grateful to have Mr. Yatin Deogar, co-founder of Eval Youth India, and Arshi, the business analyst, who will be taking us through collecting and triangulation data for evaluation. I'm confident that this presentation is going to be informative and you all are going to enjoy this session. Thank you all for being here today, and I look forward for a very fruitful session.
Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Randy. No, I'm not sure if everybody else had the video work for them. I had a little glitchiness there, so apologies if you also experienced that. But very nice to have Tashi introducing us there. Let me just get my shared screen back. Okay, so now for the very important part today. We are extremely lucky today because we have not one but two fantastic speakers joining us. So firstly, we have Yatin Debaka, who is the co-founder of Eval Youth India and is an independent evaluation consultant. So Yatin is a PhD scholar at IIT in Mumbai, and his research is focused on M&E systems in India. As I mentioned, he's a co-founder of Eval Youth India, so co-leader of Eval Youth India and Eval Youth Asia, so he's very active within the region. He's also a co-leader of the Promoting National Evaluation Systems theme of the regional strategy. And he has conducted multiple evaluation studies in central India, including with Indigenous communities, for a range of commissioners, including NGOs, funding agencies, corporate foundations, and as I mentioned, he's very actively involved in capacity building for NGOs and young and emerging evaluators, and something that he's very passionate about. I hope you don't mind me adding that in, Yatin. And secondly, we have Ashi Rizvi, who is a business analyst and a co-founder of Winlighter. So Ashi is a data scientist officer at IIT Madras and was formerly a business analyst in India's leading EV company. She excelled in her master's from IIT Bombay, and she's conducted various projects in the field of evaluation, helping NGOs and small businesses. So mentioned, she's the co-founder of Winlighter, which is a global business and data analyst, non-profitable community and learning platform. So just from that very brief introduction, you can see that we have two very talented and knowledgeable speakers to run us through this content today. So with that, I will pass over to Yatin and Ashi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all here. Next slide. Okay, so have you ever faced challenges in data collection when you had to first write down responses on the field and then type them into an Excel sheet or Google sheet while trying to make sense of the handwriting? Did you try using Google Forms but failed as it requires continuous internet connectivity? So you wanted to experiment with some other data collection tools, right? So today we are introducing you to one of such tool, which is Kobo toolbox for collecting data. Okay, collecting data for evaluation can be done using mobile-based data collection, which is more efficient and accurate using like Kobo toolbox. Like in this slide, it is about the broad content we are going to cover in our upcoming slide. The first will be the collecting data for evaluation based on mobile-based data collection. Then the introduction to Kobo toolbox, which can be used to collect data by creating questionnaires in it. And then we will explain collecting data and data triangulation, which increases the reliability and validity of evaluation. Now I would like to invite Mr. Yatin.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So starting with the presentation, first we focus on how data collection processes happen and why we should use mobile-based data collection tools for that. And just a basic introduction to open data-based systems, of which Cobra Toolbox is one example. So when you are doing any data collection process, what are the typical steps that we follow? First, we design a questionnaire. Then we convert that questionnaire into a tool which can be used on the field. It can be a pen and paper based survey, or it can be mobile based data collection tool. Then we test it, pilot it, and then train our enumerators or the data collectors to use it on the field. Then the actual data collection happens. Then we convert that data, if it is on pen and paper, into a Excel sheet or a table which can be used for analysis by, and then the analysis and report writing happens. So what are the typical steps and what are the typical mistakes which can happen in this entire data collection cycle? So the first 4 steps which I circled in red are more linked with the understanding of the interviewed person about the questions and their responses to that questions. And any mistakes in the steps of comprehending the question, retrieving information, calculating and judging the responses, and finally responding can be mitigated by designing better questions. So this is not what we're looking into today. This is about designing the questions in a better way, having better options and so on. This is not the focus of this presentation. But the next steps are the recording of the information by the enumerator and then later on data entry. These are the steps where we can avoid certain mistakes, like in the stage of recording, we can control the responses being given by the person and what is being written by the enumerator. We can have proper skip logic patterns. We can have limits on the answers that can be provided. We can avoid having a coding sheet where writing a wrong number can create issues later on. And the data entry step, the typical way data entry is done in the pen and paper system, rather the ideal way is that 2 different data entry operators type in the data. Then those data sets are compared to each other. And wherever there is a mismatch, that mismatch is cross-checked by a third person. We can completely avoid this step if the data entry happens while data is being recorded on field. And that is why we should use mobile-based systems. So what happens in the mobile-based system? What are the benefits? So as I said just now, we can add skip logics, which question should trigger which question, what question should be skipped, what should be happening next. So since this is taken care of by the computer and also the coding is taken care of by the computer or the mobile, less training is required for the field staff for collecting data. There is no resource wastage in case we decide to change the form in between the data collection cycle. Like after the first or second day, we find some mistakes in the form and want to update it. Less chance of less wastages will happen of the printed forms. Again, immediately that data will be available for analysis. If there is no internet connectivity, that will happen at the end of the day or in a couple of days when you get internet connectivity. But it is much faster than a typical pen and paper system. Again, the variety of questions that you can add, such as GPS, video, audio, etc., that is also much higher in mobile-based systems. So that is why we use mobile-based systems. The most common platform used for this is the OpenRosa platform. Open Data Kit, Kobo, ONA, Elmo, etc. All of these tools use the same standard. And Kito provides the display and visualization tool for this OpenRosa platform. Many proprietary softwares and paid services also adopting this tool today. For any standard computer-aided personal interviewing system based on Open Data Kit, there are 4 standard components. First is the creation of the questionnaire. So the tool to build the form, which converts your XLS form or an Excel sheet into an X form, an XML-based form. The second one is the data collection app, which accesses this X form and allows you to collect data on the field or using either the app or using your browser. So ODK and Kobo Collect are examples of that. Third is the server-based data aggregator, where all that data is uploaded and it allows you some data management features. Then fourth is the tool to download all of this data as an XLS or a CSV or some other format. Kobo, however, combines all these 4 features into one feature. So after creating just one single username login, you can access all of these features and you use them in an integrated fashion. So to listen more about Kobo, I will request Ashik.
Yeah, thank you. Now let's know more about the Kobo Toolbox. So it is a very powerful data collection platform that provides user with the ability to create an account on its server free of cost. The video has been shared with you all. I hope you have gone through the that video. So also Kobo Toolbox has an array of features, including a variety of question types and metadata uh, options. User can design surveys and forms to gather specific and relevant information according to their needs. The platform also offers skip and condition logic and validation to ensure data accuracy. Let's know more about the feature. This feature allows to customize the survey. It allows user to create custom forms to gather data, which can be accessed through a friendly dashboard. The summary feature provides an overview of the collected data. While we preview our function, it enables user to see how the form appears to respondents. Additionally, the platform offers data management and analysis tools, which include data exporting, filtering, and visualization. These features make Kobo Toolbox a highly efficient data collecting tool. Okay, so we have already shared the YouTube video of how to create a Kobo Toolbox account. I hope every one of you gone through that video. After you have created the account, you will see this pop-up shown in the bottom right corner of the slide, which reads, "Thanks for creating Kobo Toolbox account." So after creating the account, this is how it appears in the top left corner. Now we click on the new button as shown in the top left corner of the slide. And then there will be a pop-up which says create a project, select source. So you have four options as shown, build from scratch, use a template. Kobo Toolbox provides various templates. You can choose any one of them. Then upload an Excel form and then upload Excel form via a URL also. So after clicking on build from scratch, you need to create your form. It will be saved in a draft after deployment. It will be shown in the deployed section. Now the form is ready to collect the data. As the data collection has been done, the form will be archived. The dashboard will contain the dashboard in the background. This will contain the list of forms and with some details like name of the project, shared by, created on, last date modified, and submission. Don't worry, we will be having a hands-on experience later in the slides. Now uh, Um, okay, so this is the Kobo Toolbox form builder menu, which offers several features to make survey creation effective and efficient. User can preview their survey at any point during the process, ensuring it meets their desired standards. The expand and collapse question, feature number two, uh, uh, that helps organize lengthy survey and makes them user friendly. The ability of group selected questions is useful, is shown in the third number, uh, is useful and skip logic for better implementation of our questionnaire. And then the insert cascading select from XLS feature. This saves time by allowing user to search and insert question previously, uh, which were already added in the library. So from the library, we can collect and insert question which we have already added there. Then there's layout and setting. We will discuss this in next slide. After that, we have the save option, which is very crucial part. We have to save our form after every changes. Okay, it will show a star mark also. You will get to know in the hands-on experience In the eighth number, you can see the project name. Here it is backup demo webinar 26 April. Okay, uh, next slide. As discussed in the previous slide, that the layout and the setting offer the more important and significant features like form styling, whether you want to see the form in a single page or in a grid manner. And there are multiple options also. In the metadata settings, there are various options such as start and end time of the survey, which is very helpful in determining the duration of the survey. By enabling the username and device ID option, we can get the information of the individual who took the survey. And in case of emergency, we can contact the person also. So this feature is very important. Similarly, there are other features like phone number and auditing also. But the auditing is a more advanced feature. We are not covering this in today's presentation. To more about the setting, question types, and question options, which is also covered in the upcoming slide with hands-on experience. Next slide, please. Okay, now let's talk about this skip logic and validation, which is also an important tool. Skip logic allow you to create questions that only appears based on the respondent's previous answer. For example, select country. Based on that, we select a state and then province and then city and district like that. So this is the basic concept of skip logic. And the validation, on the other hand, ensures that respondents provide valid and complete responses to survey questions. For example, you can set up validation rules to require that the respondent enter a valid mobile number, or that they provide a response to a required question. So you can put validation on your answers. This helps to reduce the errors and ensure the accuracy and completeness of the data. So let's follow the demo. I request Mr. Yatin, please take over. Thank you. Okay, if you have any question, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Ashi and Yatin, for that so far. As Ashi mentioned, if you do have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we will do our best to address them. But bearing in mind that there is a demonstration yet to come, which may answer quite a few questions. While we just give everybody a moment to put any questions in the chat, I actually have a question myself. I'm not sure if this is perhaps too broad of a question for you, but I will ask and we will see how we go. So I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about why the Kobo Toolbox survey is your preferred tool compared to the many other online survey tools that are out there. Is there particular things that you really like about Kobo over other platforms?
So one thing that we had on the slide but did not speak about was that Kobo is free and will remain perpetually free. That is the commitment which the creators have given. Kobo Toolbox also allows you two different kinds of servers. One is the basic Kobo Toolbox server, which allows up to 10,000 submissions. And the other one is the humanitarian server, which has unlimited number of submissions, unlimited number of projects and collaborators and everything. So it is really useful for big groups. It also has many collaborators, many institutions, academic institutions, UN agencies, which are supporting the development and continuing the maintenance of Kobo. It is a strong community which supports Kobo Toolbox and its development and helps you in answering questions which will come up by using Kobo. These are the main reasons. ODK also has an equally strong support network, Open Data Kit, on which Kobo is based on. But the problem with ODK, as I was explaining, is that it has 4 different components and you have to install each of them and combine them together. You have to set up your own server and so on. Slightly more cumbersome for the average person. For the average person, it is easier to create one single login ID password, use the same thing everywhere, and just you log in, you create the form and you see the data over there and you can download that data from there. You have to open the app and just use the same login password. So Kobo makes things easier. Of course, there are also other ones which are coming up and which are also giving you more options and also seem to be free at the front, like short forms is free for many of the basic features. But when you go to complex level sounds, then you might have to pay somewhere. So that is why I have been preferring Kobo, and also because I've been using it for last 5-6 years. So I prefer Kobo over Dex.
Great, thank you. That is a very strong argument for using this one. Thank you. Now we've had a couple of questions come through in the chat. So Janet has asked, where is the data stored and what are the privacy measures included in the tool?
Both of the questions are about data and data privacy. Initially, the data is stored on the Kobo Toolbox server, but if you don't want to leave it there, you can quickly download it and delete it from their server. Also, if you are really concerned about data privacy and where the server is hosted and who controls the server and who can create a backup of the server, then Kobo also allows you to set up your own server. Just like Odik allows you to set up your own server, Kobo also allows you to set up your own server. But of course, few steps will get added and it will not be for an entry-level person, for a lay person. If your data privacy concerns which are really serious and you don't want data to be handled by anyone else, I will suggest you can set up your own server and ensure that the data is stored.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm not sure, you may have just answered the second question that has come in from Maricel. So I think you covered that, but if there's something specific, Maricel, please do put it in the chat and we can revisit it.
So I will start with the hands-on part of the session. We'll focus on the Kobo form builder, which is on the server on the website. Second option is to create a Kobo form using XLS form, basically in Excel or in Google Sheets. And there are also some automation features that we'll just introduce you to. We'll not take you through the automation features right now. So let's start with the Kobo form builder. As we had earlier said, Kobo allows you different question types. So here are the different question types which you can select when you start adding your questions in Kobo. So I'll just take you through this and then we'll start with the demo. Question types are multiple choice questions where you can either select one choice, select one, or select many. For select one, it will show a radio box. For select many, it will give you check boxes. Then the typical text field and number field and decimal field. Number field has its limits of about 10 or 11 digits. So decimal field is also used, which is for larger numbers as well as for decimals, as you can see by the name. Then there's the date and time field, which allow you to access a drop-down menu for selecting the date and the time or date and time together. Then there are three questions which are linked to GPS. One is the collecting GPS location. One is tracking a line using GPS. Third is calculating area of a polygon using a GPS. Then there are questions which allow you to click photos, then record audios and record videos. Then there are notes which you can just read out to people without asking for any response from them. Then you can scan barcodes, QR codes. Then there's a question which just allows the user to acknowledge, to accept. And there's no other option in this question. So typically it can be paired with the note. That note has been read and it has been acknowledged. It allows you a sliding scale rating question for like scale kind of questions, then question matrix. But question matrix are better visualized only on the web-based tool, not on the mobile-based app. So we typically avoid using question matrix. Instead, we use the group feature where you can add multiple questions and then group them together and then repeat the group as many times as wanted. Then the ranking one allows you to slide between the choices and select the most preferred one at the top, and so on. Calculate feeds allows you to calculate certain values in the backend and shows the result in your form, or it can also be used to trigger certain questions based on the answers. Some questions can be added and hidden. Then you can upload files if you already have on your mobile or laptop. But these later questions are typically not very frequently used. Most of our primary purposes in a typical evaluation survey will be taken care of by the top questions, in my understanding. So yes, we'll be focusing more on these questions. So while starting with the hands-on, it is important that we have the questionnaire already ready. As I was also earlier saying that designing the question is a completely different skill set, and then converting into a Kobo form is a different thing. So we are focusing on the later part. So what I've done is that I use the typical format of creating a questionnaire, where you have the serial numbers, then the question details, then the answer types, instructions, and so on, and created a small 10-12 question long questionnaire. and we'll be using this to create our form. So what I'm doing now is you can also do the same. We can log in to Pogo Toolbox. Is my screen still visible? What is visible on my screen, Amanda?
Sorry, Yatin, what was the question?
What is currently visible on my screen?
The Kobo Toolbox once you've logged in page.
Yeah, thank you. So what I done is I logged in, and as we were saying earlier, that once you're logged in, there are these features. We already talked you through the basic features. Here at the top, you have some settings which are account-related settings which you might want to explore later. We have a deployed form which we created yesterday for this specific demo, and we start draft form. What we'll do is we'll start creating a new form from scratch. So this is what you will also be doing up the first time you are logged in. You go to new, you click on build from scratch, then we give name, demo 6. Yes. I guess the description and a couple of features are compulsory. Sorry, the sector and country features are now compulsory. So it just keeps it in the background. There's options for you to share your forms and your things into the library, which is a combined library, common library, but you might not want to do that. So when you're adding the first question, you can see that this is pretty similar to also how Google Form functions. You add on the add question button, and then you firstly type in your question. So let's say from our sheet, the first one is the note, which is an introduction. So A0 introduction. So that introduction will be hello, we are here to for this survey, etc. and blah. So I'm not expecting that all.
Ay, wait lang, kalma ka lang. Nakamute ba ako?
So it has a note. So there's an important thing over here. When you are selecting question type, what is the question type you're selecting? Once you've selected that, there's no option to change it. So let's say I by mistake selected select many instead of select one. Then there's no way for me to change it. Even if I go to settings, it will allow me certain settings for the question. Skip logic, validation criteria, but it does not allow me to change the question type. So what I have to do is I have to actually delete that question and then add a new question. So my first question was introduction. Second is an acknowledgement, whether they agree to the survey. I'm not typing the whole questions here right now. Just typing anything. You can also start building the survey. So then acknowledgement question. Why we are adding this is that basically we are taking their permission to go ahead. And now depending on their answer to this question, we want to ask the next question. So what we first do is that we first add the next question, which is what is your name? This will be a text field question. And then we add the next question as well. Please provide your. And this is a decimal field question. Now I will select these questions together, which I want to group together, because all of my questions after this acknowledgement need to be triggered only if this is answered. So I create one group, which is my questionnaire group. So this is my main questionnaire group. And this gets triggered. So I go to the settings, I go to skip logic, and I add a condition which says that if the agree to survey question, select questions from the list, agree to the survey question was answered, only then these further questions will be asked. And I'll also quickly show you how this works. When this is not present, let me delete it once. When this condition is not present, when I preview the form, it will preview the form for me. It will show me all the questions that are currently added. So the name of the questionnaire, introduction, then that agree to survey question. And if this is okay, not okay, in any case, it is showing me the questions below this. But the moment I change this, skip logic to agree to survey, and then I go to preview. It is only showing me up to here. And only after I select OK, it shows me the next questions. So if you can see here on save, there is a small star mark, which means that whatever changes I've made right now are not saved. And if by mistake I close the form or go back or do something, then all of this data will be lost. So it is a good habit to save it every few minutes. Currently, there is no auto-save feature over here. So it's good idea to keep saving every few minutes. So let's coming back to the mobile phone number. In India, typically the mobile phone numbers are 10-digit long. So I want to add a validation criteria. I want to say that it should not be more than the largest 10-digit number. So that's the way. No, sorry. Response has to be lesser than the largest 10-digit number will be 999345678 9. So this is the largest 10-digit number, and my response has to be less than this. At the same time, since it has to be a 10-digit number and not a 9-digit number, also the smallest 10-digit number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I put a lower bound and an upper bound for my answer. Depending on your country, your region, you might know that it follows a more stringent condition. You can put that bonds as well. Actually, in India currently, the lowest phone numbers start with the digit 6. So I can also replace this with 6 phone. And it will still hold true for most of the phone numbers. But I'm giving it a less stringent condition. Question should match all of these criteria, not just any of these criteria. It has to match all of these criteria. This is this criteria and this criteria. So there's also another thing that I want to show right now. If you go to the settings, you see this data column name. This is the XML value which is attached with this column name. So when the data gets downloaded, it is stored into a column which has this title. So what we typically want to do is we also want to replace this with something like a.1.name. So that in the background also, it is a shorter name. It follows the question numbering pattern, and it is easier for us to identify when we are downloaded the data. Then there is a guidance hint feature where we can write how we want the name to be shown. So I want the first name, last name. I am not concerned with the middle name. Is it a mandatory response? Is it a compulsory question? Yes, because without this, we don't want to proceed to the next questions. There is no default response for this question, and the advanced settings is something you are not currently exploring. There is no skip logic which needs to be attached to this question because you already attached the skip logic to the entire section. And for validation criteria for name field, we are not adding any validation. So that is how we are building these questions. Is anyone facing any challenge till now? Are you also trying to build forms simultaneously? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add another question over here. So the third question in my questionnaire is taking the GPS location. And then I'm having also already shown you the skip logic once, but I'm doing it once more over here. And then I'm having a select many question here, which has the options. So now you see the options field which gets created. You select many or select one question. This is the choices which you can give. So my choices are student, second choice is employee, third choice is employer. Yeah, and so currently their background XML values have been saved automatically, but I can also give values that I want. Student, employee. So this is same as the name field that we saw in the previous question. Like also in this question, there is a name field over here. I'm replacing this a.3. A.k underscore. So this allows me to easily read it. The automatic names which are created will typically be longer and will have the start of the question as such. But I don't need all of this, so I have to change this. Underscore, which is enough. This is also mandatory question. Let's say even the third question is mandatory for us because based on it, our next questions will be. So now what I'm doing is that if the answer to this question is student, then I want to ask a question which says, what is your degree program? And for which I want to give them options. But this question should get only triggered when the answer to the previous question is student. So I go to the settings, speak logic, add a condition. Select a question from the list. What are you doing? Student. Student is by default because it is the first option. Equal to. There are other options which you can select, like equal to, not equal to, was answer, not answer. In our current question, it is equal. Then let's say I am adding a date field question. When will your degree? Here I am adding a date field question. And actually both of these questions should get triggered together. So I'm selecting them together, creating a group around them. This is the student group. And for the student group itself, if I'll apply the logic like we did earlier, then it is easier. So this is a better feature that you always create smaller groups wherever needed, so that you don't need to apply logic to each and every question, skip logic to each and every question. When the student group gets triggered, all these questions within that group will get asked. So what I'm doing is that I'm also selecting all of these 4 questions which I added previously and giving them their own group. And this I'm calling basic information. It is a good idea to always create such a separate group for basic information because for data privacy reason, whatever personally identified information you are collecting, you do not want to share it with anyone else. So you can easily extract this entire group information in one go, remove it from your data set, keep it somewhere else separately, safely, and continue with the rest of the survey if you want to take the opinion else for the analysis of the survey. So yeah, for privacy concerns also, it is good to have this information separately. So this is my B group, that is my A group, this is my B group. And then outside this group, I'm adding a question about, let's say, who is your name of company, and that name of company should get triggered either when this is a text type of question, and it should get triggered when option to the previous question is either to employee or employer, let's say. So what are you currently doing was not equal to student. So that is when it is not equal to student, it is either employee or employee. So I'm giving it a reverse logic instead of adding double conditions. What I can also do is that I can select equal to employee condition, same question again, equal to employer, and I can say should match any of these criteria. So this is equivalent to what I had done earlier, where I selected not equal to and said to. Let's say our questionnaire is complete over here. What are questions I added? Again, skip a couple of questions from that, which are decimal field and select end of questions, skip end questions, which I'm pretty sure you are aware of. We are already an example of multiple choice question. So let's just try to preview this form. More new introduction, agree to the survey, basic information. So not valid this. We have and phone number which is shorter than required. So use an error. So add digits and I create a phone number which is longer than allowed. Again, value is not allowed. Or when I have exact 10 digits, it's allowing the answer. So record location, if you are using it on mobile, it will select, it will ask you for permission to turn on your GPS and auto record the location. Since I'm using on computer and I'm not given permission to my browser to access locations, it is asked It cannot do it right now. I'm selecting some point. So let's select student. The student group gets triggered. If instead of student, I select employee, name of company is getting triggered. And the same is happening for employee. So let's say I'm going with student, degree program, and the year field as a same, it will create a drop down in for you to select your month and year and so on and field available. And is so what we do is that we save the questionnaire. But more importantly, in the layoutness settings, we are also starting some start time, end time metadata. And if you're also using other people to collect data for you, you want to create the username, ID, passwords, and also give them access to the form so that they can log into their own account and use it. If you're not doing it like that, then maybe you want to access the device ID, especially if you're using browsers to fill the data. Device ID is a better option to select than username or phone. Maybe we don't want the phone name. But if you want to control the data, then you can select phone number. So all of that data will be collected. Apart from all of these questions, this data will also be collected for every form. Then we want to collect background audio, enable, disable, but once you enable it, then it will also have more options and so on. Now, the auditing feature allows you to create auditing, create some points in between where some extra data will be collected. For that, we'll have to explore audit settings, how those logs are created. This is an advanced feature, and for most basic purposes, you can avoid it. So we're avoiding it currently. Save. Close. So now this form is being shown here. And it says that if you want to make these changes public, you must deploy this form. So basically, if you want to start data collection, you need to deploy. So when I go on deploy, it says deploying to CoboCat, so the Kobo server, and the form has been deployed now. And now I can access this form using my mobile phone. And I can fill it. If I want to fill up on the computer itself, I can just go to this open, collect data, online offline submissions, multiple submissions are allowed. Also, other option that you want to do, only one submission for this one is allowed, online only is allowed, offline only is allowed, and whatever. So I'm setting online offline multiple submission, which is the most common one when we are doing last fill data. Open. So now the form has been opened. And it wants me to fill all the data here. So I'll deliberately fill once here because I want to show you what happens in the data, how the data looks. There is option to save draft or to submit. When I save draft, save and close, it shows me here that record has been stored as draft, and in this left hand corner, it is showing me one record. What does this mean? It means that one record is queued for submission. I can select to upload it. So what I have to do to upload it is I have to go back to the form and click on submit. So form work offline. Once I open it in the browser, I can easily use it. You can also see that it has been successfully submitted. The two forms have been successfully submitted. No, one form is still in the edit mode. Go back to edit that form and I have to submit it once. So now it will go down to it will include for submission. So I submitted one blank form and I submitted one form with data in it. This second form is still being uploaded. It has now been uploaded successfully submitted. So the count went down to 0. This is how it works in a browser. So we have to this sheet and have to so now this data tab has turned on, and in data tab you can see in this table the submissions. And we'll go to these other options later on, but you can have some access to some basic reports. If you click photos in your form, then you can access to the photos in the image gallery. And if you go to the map, it shows you the location of that survey, like it's showing one survey right now at random some spot. So it's showing you one survey at that spot. If you have multiple surveys happening in a village, it will show you all those spots. So yeah, that is the core of the demo. Once you have created that form, you can come to the form again. You can collect data. You can share that project with others. You can edit it to you. I'm going to this edit option again. Sorry, not this. Go to this. Yeah, here. So in this form app, you see basic details about your form. This edit, preview, and replace form. What does replace form mean? You can replace that form by uploading another form in its place. These kind of options are very useful when you are repeatedly creating some survey, updating it, and using Excel format. We also promote use of Excel for forms which need to go back and forth many times between different people for finalizing, because working in an Excel sheet is much easier in a collaborative way, and it allows you some greater options. So what you can do is you can download that Excel sheet. Let's say, and you can start using that Excel sheet and start editing that Excel sheet. So that's mostly about the hands-on. If the people have questions right now, or we can take them after listening to our Excel sheet from Ashi. Ashi, can you take over?
Yes. Uh, Thank you for the hands-on demo. Let's discuss more about the XLS form. So it is a tool form for data collection in Kobo Toolbox. It uses an Excel spreadsheet format to specify the form's questions and other survey elements. The XLS form consists of two worksheets, the survey worksheet and the choices worksheet. If you want to know more about it, you can follow this link, and I'll also explain you. Next slide, please. Yeah. Here, the survey worksheet is where you define the questions, question type, and other survey elements. Each row represents a survey question, and the columns contain information about the question, such as the question type, uh, whether it is single underscore one, single underscore multiple questions. Okay. So also in the you can see in the choice worksheet, there is a list name and labels. Okay, so these are connected. The survey worksheet and the choice worksheet are interlinked with each other. In the row number 20, you can see select underscore one Markstat. So it is connected to the choice worksheet where Markstat is listed under list underscore name column. And for the marriage question in the survey worksheet, the multiple answers are present: married, single, separated, or divorced. Okay, so here, this is if we do any change in the XLS form, we get just a minute. There's some problem at my end. Okay. So once you have created your XLS form, you can upload it on Kobo Toolbox to create a new survey project. And this Kobo Toolbox will automatically generate a web-based form based on the XLS form, which you can use to collect data from respondents. So next slide, please. So how we can like how can we put formula to make our work more easier? Like while designing a questionnaire, there are changes which are often like in the sequence or in the content of the question. So by applying Excel formulas or Google spreadsheet formulas to the question numbers, name, constraints, and to skip logic, it will automatically update the changes. And also it will be very helpful while doing the changes. The second thing is like if we collect our data in multi languages, so we can quickly translate using Google Translate formulas, making it easier to create multilingual surveys. These formulas streamline the survey creation, making it easier to create effective survey forms. Next slide. So in the automation, this is a very advanced feature that we can inculcate it, at the time of building Excel form itself. You can go through the provided links and learn more about this feature. We have also used these features in our earlier projects. It makes the survey more user-friendly and effective, as well as we can analyze the data in a dynamic as well as in real-time basis. So next slide. If you have any questions or you can ask.
Great, thank you so much to both of you. That was really informative, and you managed to cover a lot of ground in a short time. So thank you very much for that. We did have a couple of questions come up in the chat. So the first was asking, I think, about troubleshooting and support. So they asked if there will be a mentor available to guide people through use of the Kobo toolkit. So I don't know if you've got any comment about the support that's available for the app.
So there are many support groups online for Kobo, like the link in the last slide, which we shared with you. There's a strong Kobo community where many beginners keep asking many basic level questions again and again. The senior people just redirect them to somewhere else where it has been already answered. If it is for your specific use that you want support for your specific questionnaire and help with building it and launching it and so on, then you can rely on others who are using Kobo. You can reach out to us. If it is a small query, we might also be able to get back to you. If it is a more time-consuming, more extensive activity, then we'll have to think about some sort of another arrangement between us. Okay, so yes, we are also there to mentor you for some basic help, some questions if you're not finding it yourself. Please reach out to us with your questions. Wherever possible, we will answer them ourselves. We direct you to online resources which already answer them. Basic level questions will be easier to answer. Higher level questions, we'll also have to work with you to answer them, like all the automation features, etc. It is more into customization and linking two projects together and adding complex skills to your form. So of course, that will also take some time to get.
Great, thank you for that. It sounds like there is quite a lot of help out there, so that's a nice thing about the platform. Now there's another question here. A reminder to everyone else that if you have any other questions, please do put them in the chat. But there is one more here, which may be too specific, but I will ask anyway, and you can either answer or not, that is fine. But the second question is about how to make complex rosters, such as crop and household rosters, on the tablets or mobile through the app.
Actually, Arshi answered that question, but maybe by mistake she sent it as a direct message to me. She want to just repeat your answer?
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I missed that one.
Okay.
She sent a direct message to me by mistake.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So like to create complex rosters on tablets or mobile devices using Kobo Toolbox, create a survey form and add relevant question types. Use the repeat group feature to collect on multiple instances of the same set of questions. Set up skip logic to ensure respondents only answer relevant questions. Test your form and deploy it to your mobile or tablet device using the Kobo Toolbox app. Collect the data, which will be automatically synced with the server when you have an internet connection. So this is how I hope I have answered the question.
Great, thank you very much, Ashi. That's very clear.
Yes.
Also, thank you.
Vijender has also made a comment about the translation. I was just going through it. Yeah. Yes, it is true that it is only useful for Unicode and for if it is a Unicode font, then only it will be shown in Kobo Toolbox, because it will not be rendered properly. And of course, if it's typically supported by Google Translate, then it will also have some Unicode font available for that script.
Great, thank you. And thank you to Vijanda, who has been putting some other helpful tips in the chat. So if you have missed those, I suggest checking out the chat. Okay, I think we are ready to move on to the last section of the presentation. Please take it away.
Yeah, sure. So collecting data is another useful tool for Kobo. Like Kobo Collect is used in conjunction with Kobo Toolbox. It allows user to collect data offline, as we have said, and upload it whenever the connection is available. So it also includes the project management settings. Let's dig deeper into it. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Kobo Collect is a mobile data collection app designed for Android devices. The app provides secure storage of saved forms until upload, reducing the risk of data loss. Apple users can access Kobo Toolbox through a web browser. Although this may be less stable when using Kobo Collect, it is important to select a correct server for your account. Whether Kobo Toolbox or Kobo Humanitarian, links are available in the videos that we have shared with you. And to use your Kobo account credentials to log in for both Toolbox and Humanitarian will be the same. The thing we should keep in mind that to update and redeploy a form, you should obtain a new blank form each and every time. Next slide. Okay. The management settings provide an efficient way to manage data projects. The platform allows you to archive projects after data collection, making it easier to focus on the ones that require attention. Sorry. Furthermore, it offers the ability to include media questions in your survey forms, allowing you to capture audio, video, and images. This feature enhances the quality of data collection and provides the more context for the analysis. Additionally, it also includes project management settings, such as the ability to restrict access to the project, set user roles, and manage permissions. These features help to ensure the security and integrity of the project being collected. Also, Kobo Toolbox provide dynamic data sharing between projects. This feature allows you to connect different projects, enabling you to share data across multiple projects. For example, if you have two different surveys targeting the same population, you can link them to share common data points, such as demographic information. Actually, this will simplify data management and analysis, and also reduces duplication of efforts. Next slide. Yeah, it allows user to download collected data in their data through their servers. When downloading data, user can choose from a variety of file types, such as CSV, XLS, JSON files. The downloaded files includes headers that can be used as labels or names for the data. Additionally, Kobo Toolbox provide advanced options for downloading, such as selecting which data to include or exclude, and selecting filters and sort orders, which is basically exporting the data. It's worth noting that exporting and downloading data are two separate steps in Kobo Toolbox. Additionally, we can also connect the Google spreadsheet with Kobo Toolbox by selecting appropriate API connection, which makes our analysis dynamic and real time. Thank you. I request Yatin to please continue from here.
Sorry. So we are coming to the last part of our presentation, where I'll be just talking a bit about data triangulation and data quality control, and just show you some extra resources. There are different types of triangulations that we have to keep in mind while doing any evaluation study. We can be checking multiple theories for their impact on ground. There can be multiple methods being employed. Multiple data sources can be used and multiple resources can be employed for triangulation of data. So these are also crucial in our basic data collection systems. So when data triangulation is important when we are doing some survey data collection, but some part of that survey data is also triangulated using some other sources, which increases the validity of our data. Like you collect some demographic parameters in your survey, and through access to some census data or some other administrative data, you know that this is the demographics of that population. And if your population demographics and your survey demographic matches, then you can say that your data is valid for that region and your sampling is generalized. Then the methods triangulation is also very frequently used, which is basically using mixed methods for data collection. Apart from doing a survey, you also want to do key informant interviews or focus group discussions and other methods, observations, and so on to understand the problem in depth and cross-check your survey responses and to understand why and how behind questions. So yes, so that is the methods triangulation. Then investigator triangulation or the researcher triangulation is to increase the confidence in your data. So what we typically do in any survey is that other than the enumerators collecting survey, behind every some 10-15 enumerators, you will have one supervisor who will also go on doing some back checks on that data, cross-verifying some data points, audit features which have come in and so on, audio recordings which can be added. All of that can be used to triangulate the data being collected by the investigator or the enumerator. This helps you in increasing the confidence in the reliability of your data, accuracy of your data. Then theory triangulation, you might be testing different hypotheses at the same time. And data analysis triangulation, if that data is some hypothesis testing and some complex statistics is being applied, you can apply more than one methods to look at the same data and see if it gives you the same results in every case. So yes, so focusing more on the investigator triangulation, it is also crucial in your management of the data collection process. It is just, as I was saying, extension of the offline data collection and management quality control tools which have been used previously as well. You want to firstly carry out pilots before the actual survey to ensure that your form is correct, what your measurements are doing, your options are correct. Then you want to have back checks so that a supervisor goes on field or you call up people on phone after the survey and cross check some important data points, some crucial data points for you. You want to cross check them. So those are the back checks. High frequency checks have been introduced using these mobile based data collection tools where daily data can be downloaded, and as Arshu was explaining, you can even have real-time data coming into your Google Sheets where you can set up automated analysis. So typical examples of high frequency checks are comparing the time between start and end of a survey. If you expect a typical survey to run for half an hour, but one enumerator is always finishing in 10 minutes or another enumerator is always taking more than 1 hour, then in either of these extreme cases, you know that some mistakes are happening, something is not being done properly, and you want to relook at their data or want to talk with those enumerators to improve the quality of their data collection. And there can be also other high frequency data checks that you know that an average family size in the area you're surveying is about, let's say, 4.2. But if consistently one of the surveys showing you only 1 or 2 member households or something like that, you want to have better look at that data. So multiple high frequency checks can be applied in your data. This can be automated using R or Stata or even by applying formulae in Google Sheets and so on. And so you can get updated data every day and can do quick analysis high frequency check, which can be used later on. And I was saying audits. So audits is again going back to the back checks features or the recording of the audios or calling people back and so on, and cross-checking with what information has already been collected. So this way you can remove the biases or the mistakes which can come in during researchers or enumerators data collection. And so that can help in triangulating your data. So there are some resources that we want to share with all of you. As this PPT will be shared with all of you, you can access these resources easily. As I was earlier also mentioning, POGO has a very strong support group and a community where you can get answers to lots of questions. The support.pogo toolbox is basically their help section where you will get basics of all the features that we explained and more features and all the advanced features as well. And the community will answer your very basic to very advanced questions plus any specific mistakes which you are only facing, and it will also give you certain insights into some other features. One such mistake that I was able to find in my form only because of the Kobo community toolbox was that when you have a form in which you have a select multiple kind of a field, and if you're applying constraints into it, skip logic onto it, there are two ways of writing the skip logic. If you're doing the online version, it creates a skip logic where it says question number equal to option. There's another way of writing it which starts with selected, then in bracket you write the question number, and then you say comma, and then in inverted comma you give the option. So this second mode is good for multiple choice of select multiple kind of a question, while the earlier mode is good only for the select one kind of a question. So this I only understood when I went to the community when I was facing some problem in my sheet. So yes, so if you go to the community, you will get answers to many things. The LinkedIn page is not very regularly updated, but they also explain very different features on their page through some short videos. Currently, I did not find an active YouTube channel of Kobo Toolbox, but this humanitarian data solutions, which has been supporting the humanitarian Kobo Toolbox community, they have a YouTube channel and you get some good content over there. There are some typical naming conventions which are followed by different people across the globe while creating an Excel sheet based form, which you can read in this naming convention, and more support multilingual forms is also available. So that's all from our side for now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to you both for such a very comprehensive and helpful presentation. That's really great. I know I learned a lot, so I'm sure that everybody else did as well. Now, has anybody got any last questions before we let our Kobo Toolbox gurus go? Make the most of the opportunity. If you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. Excuse me. I will just give everybody a moment to put any questions in the chat. But I just wanted to say again, thank you so much. There's a lot of benefits of the toolkit that I can see compared to some of the other platforms, as I was mentioning at the start. So you know, the ability to have it offline is such a big benefit in evaluation work. So for highlighting that and for showing how that works. Are there any other questions? Just a thanks message from Yatin in the chat. Okay, so it looks like that may be it for the questions. So once again, thank you so much for that. And I will just get my share screen back if that's okay. When I find the right one to share with you all.
So if anyone wants to learn more about Kobo, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out on social media or on email to us.
Great, thank you, Yatin. And at the end of the presentation as well, we will put up the social media contact details for Eval Youth Asia as well. And I'm sure that they will get in contact with you if they need to, Yatin. So thank you for putting that question out there. Okay, now I think we would like to take a group picture for the production team. So if I could get everybody who can to turn their videos on so that we can mark this event in Youth and Evaluation Week, that would be great. So if everyone can turn their videos on.
Madhuka, May, over to you to take the group picture. Madhuka?
Yeah, so requesting everybody to open your camera if you are fine. May, can you take the photo?
Wait. Let me do this up. Okay, please turn on your cameras and give me the best smile you've got so we can take a good photo of our event. Okay, ready? 1, 2. So I'll take the other one. Page. One more. All right, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, May. It's always a little awkward. Everybody just smile at their computer. There's nobody else around, but everybody smile. So thank you for taking part in that. That's great. Okay. Okay, so the group picture is finished. So I'd now like to pass over to Maha Salman to give the closing remarks for the presentation. So Maha is the co-leader of Value Youth Asia. So over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Amanda, for moderating this event. And thank you so much, Yatin and Arshi, for the brilliant training. It was so useful. I'm actually looking forward to using the Kobo toolbox because it just seems so appealing. This week is the Youth and Evaluation Week, and this is a great opportunity for all the young and emerging evaluators to get connected and join the networks, to learn with us, to engage with us in the workshops, in the events that we all do. It's a great opportunity to build your network in the evaluation sector. So as your follow-up training comes to close, I want to take a moment to commend you all, firstly, for your dedication and commitment to furthering your knowledge and skills in the field of evaluation. Over the time in the winter school, in the fall, as well as the fall school, and in this training, we had the opportunity to learn from some of the brightest minds, engage in thought-provoking discussion, hands-on learning experience. We participated in activities, and we also asked some great questions. So as we move forward, again, I encourage you to connect with the networks, apply the knowledge and skills that you have gained to make a meaningful contribution in your professional and personal lives. I hope that you will continue to stay connected with your fellow participants as well as our community of professionals and enthusiasts who share your passion. So thank you for your participation and best of luck for your future endeavors. Thank you, everyone.
Gina.
Thank you very much, Maha. What a great way to close out the presentation. Now we are almost finished, but please don't leave yet. We have some important reminders for you. So firstly, our next follow-up training is scheduled for the 8th of June. So that will be here before we know it. Another great topic and a great presentation and moderator there as well. So if you would like to sign up for that one, please do so. If you got the emails about this event, you will also probably receive the emails about this one, but I encourage you all to sign up. We also have a couple of calls for proposals and funding opportunities available at the moment. So there's a call for proposals open for Indigenous evaluation knowledge transfer workshops or virtual meetings within the region. So this deadline has actually been extended, so it's now until the 30th of April. So I think that is the end of this week. So if you have something in mind that would be eligible for that, please do apply. We'd love to see some applications and proposals coming through. And the second one there is looking to take a survey to identify and create a database and directory for Indigenous evaluators. So if you are an evaluator working with Indigenous communities or an Indigenous evaluator, please do connect and take that survey. That would be very helpful as well and greatly appreciated. And then, of course, these have all been follow-up trainings to the Asia Pacific Winter School. So this is now back for the 4th year, but excitingly, this will be an in-person winter school, which we obviously have been unable to do for so long. So it's a very exciting prospect that this one will be delivered as part of the APIA conference in Manila in December. So the winter school itself is only open to people who have not previously participated. So unfortunately, if you've been there once and you loved it enough to come back twice, unfortunately you can't, but you are very much welcome to come to the conference and we'd very much like to see you there. So the registration for the conference is not yet open, but it will be opening kind of early June. So keep an eye out for that as well. We'd really love to see a lot of representation from young and emerging evaluators there. Okay, and I promised that we would put up how to connect with Value Youth Asia, APIA, and Value Youth global. So these are the details here. So please do stay in touch, and this is how you can stay up to date with all of the events that are happening as well. Obviously, it's a very active space in this region. So I encourage you to connect on all of those. And with that, I think we are wrapping up this session. So thank you so much to you all for joining and participating and following along. Thank you once again to Yatin and Ashi for the fantastic presentation and the very informative materials. So thank you all, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day wherever you are around the world.